The second experiment is then called as the no load test. In this case, as we have seen, that the machine equivalent circuit can be represented in this manner. We do have this branch. This resistance is RR dash by S, X LR dash, RS XLS. Now since slip is going to be very small, RR dash by S is very large, and therefore the flow of current I2 dash, IR dash here is neglected. And at this point you supply the rated voltage at rated frequency, and the machine is allowed to run. So the machine will run at nearly close to synchronous speed, and then we measure voltage applied, current drawn, and third is power drawn. Now one must note that the input power is going to be used up as stator copper loss, and then stator iron loss plus mechanical losses. So if we are to determine the value of RC, then we need to separate out the mechanical loss from all these three. How does one do that? As far as this portion is concerned, you know the value of stator resistance RS, and if you know how much current is drawn, then this loss is nothing but I no load square into RS is the stator copper loss per phase. So this multiplied by 3 is the overall loss that is going to occur in that. Now this leaves us with stator iron loss and mechanical loss. We need to separate out mechanical loss from this, and that can be done in this manner. Now we know that iron loss occurs because of hysteresis and eddy current effects, and the hysteresis and eddy current effects are approximately proportional to the supply voltage square, and therefore we do an experiment where you note down the losses in the machine, that is, you note down power drawn as supply voltage is reduced under no load. So if we do that, let us mark the supply voltage here, and this is the input power drawn. Now since this goes as squared, how will the machine behave? We note that under no load operation, the slip is very small because it has to supply only the friction and windage loss, and then which is all that it needs to give. It needs only to supply the friction and windage loss. So slip is very small, and therefore as you go on reducing the supply voltage, it is very unlikely that the slip of operation will undergo a significant variation. The slip will more or less remain small because the machine does not really need that much of supply voltage in order to meet that very small amount of load. However, as you reduce the value of supply voltage, you are going to significantly affect the ion losses, because ion losses are proportional to supply voltage square, and therefore you would expect a graph where the losses reduce in a square law way with respect to the supply voltage. Let us say this is the rated value of supply voltage, Vs rated. As you go on reducing, this input power drawn will also begin to reduce, mainly on account of the fact that ion loss is the one that is going to reduce. Since speed will not vary much, nothing much will happen to the mechanical losses. So you do this experiment until you get a substantial variation in the input active power drawn, and then what you do is you extend this to meet y-axis, and it is then assumed that the intercept that happens here is equivalent to the mechanical losses, whereas the decrease that is happening here, this decrease that is happening all along, is due to the ion losses that are happening. So by this experiment then one will be able to separate out the mechanical losses that occur in the machine, and therefore if you look at P no load minus 3 times I no load square into Rs minus P mechanical losses is the loss that occurs in the ion at the rated operating condition at which you have excited. So this represents ion loss that is occurring in the machine. So we now know what the ion loss is. So using this information, we now have P ion by 3 equals the value of the supply voltage square divided by RC. Now we note that V is the supply voltage that is given here, and the voltage across this branch, so if we call that as E, that is the voltage across this branch, then it is actually E square by RC. E square by RC is equal to the ion loss divided by 3. But usually voltage drop in stator impedance is small, and hence one can make an assumption that E is approximately equal to V supply voltage itself. Now note that V supply voltage by root 3, because V supply voltage is the line voltage, and therefore we can get the value of RC as Vs square by 3 divided by P ion by 3, which is then Vs square divided by P ion. Now having got this value of RC, we know that you have RC and XM, and the voltage that is appearing here is Vs by root 3. So the flow of current in the resistance IRC is then given by Vs by root 3 divided by RC. You know the total current that is flowing in here because you have measured it, and let us say this current is I no load. Then what you have is IXM. If this is IXM, IXM is equal to square root of I no load square minus IRC square, which then gives us a way to calculate the value of XM. Then XM is equal to Vs by root 3 divided by IXM. So in this way one can figure out what the values of XM and RC are in the network. Now we must note that the actual operation of the machine is much more involved, and to get an exact description of the tests and the way to separate all these out, one must refer to appropriate standards that do this. And if you look at different books, they give approximations to different extents in order to arrive at the equivalent circuit data. But the approach that we have shown here can be referred to from the book by Hindmarsh, which is Electric Machines and Their Applications.